The NVAO uses the limited framework for initial accreditation when assessing new programs at institutions with an institutional audit. This framework consists of 3 standards. These concern the intended learning outcomes, teaching learning environment, and student assessment. Standard 1. Intended learning outcomes. The panel assesses whether the intended learning outcomes match the intended level of the program, as defined in the Dutch qualifications framework, as well as its orientation. The learning outcomes should also correspond to the regional, national, and international perspectives of the requirements as currently set by the professional field and the discipline. Standard 2. Teaching and learning environment. This standard is concerned with the question of whether the learning outcomes are properly translated into educational objectives in the curriculum in order to provide students with the opportunity to attain these learning outcomes. The diversity of the students admitted is taken into account in this respect. If the program is taught in a language other than Dutch, the program must justify that choice. This also applies when a program name is in a foreign language. The teaching and learning environment encourages students to play an active role in designing their own learning process. The panel also assesses whether there are sufficient faculty members qualified for the implementation of the curriculum in terms of content and educational expertise. Teaching staff have sufficient command of the language of instruction. Only facilities specific to this educational program are inspected. Standard 3. Student assessment. To attain the learning outcomes, various forms of assessment are embedded in the curriculum. In this standard, the panel investigates whether the system of assessment is. To do so, the panel checks the reliability of the assessment, the validity of assessment, and whether the assessment is sufficiently impartial and unbiased. The tests support the student's own learning processes. The panel also checks whether the requirements are transparent to the students. Finally, the panel assesses whether the quality of testing and assessment is sufficiently safeguarded and meets statutory quality standards. Here are the 3 standards once more. In exceptional cases, a 4th standard may also apply. Standard 4. Achieved learning outcomes. This standard is assessed only when the NVAO judges that final projects are available to be assessed. The panel investigates whether the learning results meet the intended educational level by means of examining final projects, where necessary other forms of assessment, or how graduates perform in the field, or in postgraduate programs.